Okay, let's start. The rest of the children have they're not coming today. Okay, let's begin. Who is going to recite? Purva can recite today Namokar mantra, and Briella will recite Chattari Mangalam.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Aryanam, Namo Vajayam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamo Yaro, Sava Pava Panasanam, Mangalalancha Savesim, Padamam Hoi Mangalam, Padamam Hoi Mangalam.
Briella?
Go ahead.
Chattari Mangalam, Aryanta Mangalam, Sita Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Banato, Tammo Mangalam. Chattari Lokutama, Aryanta Lokutama, Sita Lokutama, Sahu Lokutama, Kevali Panato Tammo Lokutamo. Chattarisharam Pavyami, Aryanteshwaram Pavyami.
Slowly.
Chattarisharam Pavyami, Aryanteshwaram Pavyami, Siteshwaram Pavyami, Sahusharam Pavyami, Kevali Panatam, Tamam Sharam Pavyami.
Okay, let's continue now with the class. Next week, Dia and Anya, you have to say it. So, will you practice at home? Both of you have to sing at home every day. And next week, both of you will say it. Let's start with the class. Vishal, do I need to give you permission?
What would you like to share?
Oh, okay. The book we were doing, Balbodh Patmala 3. Hetal, turn on your video. Hetal, turn on your video so that we can start quickly. Okay, good.
That goes the third book.
Okay. Okay, Hetal, look over here. We're doing Balbodh Patmala 3. It is the third part. And here they have written it so this is Balbodh Patmala 3. Have you printed it? Vritti and Purva, Dia and Anya, have you printed it at home? Okay, good. Yeah, good children. Okay, so let's go down. So we had learned the first chapter, Hetal. Hetal is Vritti and Purva's mom. Look over here, because you can read Hindi, right? Hetal?
Yes.
Okay, look over here. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Setanam, Namo Ayaryanam, Namo Vajayanam. This is what is the original Namokar mantra. So look, you can even see that the language is Prakrit or it might be Sanskrit. So this is the original Namokar mantra of the Panch Parmeshti. Please scroll down. Okay, Dia, try and sing it. Quick, Dia.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sitanam, Namo Aryanam, Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Bachimoyaro, Sava Papanasano, Mangalale Chisavisim, Padamam Haviva, Galam, Padamam Harim.
Mangalam, Very good, Dia. Okay, let's start with the with the class. This is a hymn of salutations. Herein, first of all, completely detached and omniscient. Omniscient means what, Purva? Purva, what does omniscient mean? We have done it before. One who knows everything, okay? Past, present and future. Omniscient gods, arihants and siddhs have been saluted. After that, monks following the path of detachment have been adored. These include Acharya, Upadhyay, and ordinary Digambar saints. Next paragraph. These are the 5 supreme holy beings. Vritti, recite the names of Panchaparmeshti.
It
And that
is
Arihant,
Arihant, Siddh, then Upadhyayas,
no. Acharya,
Acharya, Upadhyay, and Siddh,
Sadhu.
and Sadhu.
Quickly again.
Arihant, Siddh, Acharya, Upadhyay, and Sadhu.
Very good. Okay, let's go down. These are the 5 supreme holy beings. Arihant and others are grades of spiritual realization. Now, Hetal. When it says grades mean that there are levels. Vishal, please show that picture of the steps, the painting. So there are steps. How many steps are there, Fiona?
14.
How many steps are there, Anya?
Oh yeah, 14.
14. So Hetal, look, there are 14 steps. They are not steps actually, but they're gunastan.
Yeah.
Gunastan, okay? So
Yes.
there are 14 gunastan. Now look up there. There is Siddha Bhagwan up there. Now, what gunastan does Siddha Bhagwan have, Briella?
No Gunastan.
Clap for Briella, very good. So Gunastan has got, Siddha Bhagwan has got no Gunastan. So we had learned this last week. What Gunastan does Arihant Bhagwan have? Let's see who raises their hand. Dia, Anya?
13th Gunastan.
Very good, good memory. So Hetal, Arihant Bhagwan is in the 13th Gunastan. What does Arihant Bhagwan mean? One who has released or whose karma, the ghati karma, have gone. Okay, Hetal?
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Yeah, Briella, you want to say something?
I have a question. So if you write down the first one and then you do it.
No, I think she had a question before, which was, can you go backwards?
Yeah, good question, Briella. Okay, so look at the first Gunastan. We can't see it. So the first Gunastan is where we are. So we are in a state called Mithyatva. Mithyatva. Say it, Vritti. Okay, let's start with Purva. Very good, very good. Purva, say it.
Mithyatva.
No, Mithyatva.
Mithyatva.
Very good. Dia?
Mithyatva.
Anya?
Mithyatva.
Briella?
Mithyatva.
Fiona, quickly.
Mithyatva.
Hetal?
Mithyatva.
Vishal?
Mithyatva.
So we are in the first step and it first Gunastan. Say Gunastan, Dia. Gunastan.
Gunastan.
Very good. Anya?
Gunastan.
Okay, fine. So, how many Gunastans are there in total? I want you to say, Purva, I want you to say these many Gunastan.
14 many Gunastans.
Gunastan, say, I want to hear the word.
14 many Gunastan.
Okay, 14 Gunastan. Okay, 14 Gunastan. Fine. So now coming to Briela's question. Can you see the 11th Gunastan? Can you see that 11th Gunastan? One can fall from there. But if one goes to 12th, he can't fall. So let's go to the 6th Gunastan. Go to the 6th Gunastan. In the 6th Gunastan, one is in a state where one is thinking. Now, when you go to 7th Gunastan, it is called a state where one is completely absorbed in the soul. So the thoughts are not there. This is an easy terminology, but of course the terminology is different and a little bit more in depth, but just for the easiness so that you understand. Now, one goes from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In 11, if he's not able to maintain meditation, he will drop. He can drop up to Gunastan 1. Briela, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, explain. Explain from 6 Gunastan.
From 6 Gunastan and
Okay, fine, no problem. Let me say it one more time. 6th Gunastan is where the mind still, the mind is still functioning in that Gunastan. Now he puts the monk, the sadhu, puts in a little bit more effort and he gets absorbed in the soul. Now he reaches the 7th Gunastan. From 7, now he goes systematically. He will not jump. He will not jump from 7 to 9 to 11. He will not jump like that. He will go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And even when he falls, he will not fall from 11 to 1 or 11 to 4 or 11 to 5. He will not fall like that. He will fall systematically. He will fall from 11, 10, 9, 7, 8, 6. Systematically, again, he will fall. So let's not go too much into depth because there is a lot to understand. But Briela, does that answer your question?
yes.
Okay, so now let's move on with the class. Vritti, how many Gunastan are there?
14 Gunastan.
Good. Okay, let's continue now. These are the 5 supreme holy beings, Parmeshtis. Arihant and others are grades. Grades. So what is another name for grades we just learned? Hetal?
Hello?
Jaldi bolo.
Apre Bhagwan.
No, Gunastan, grades, step by step. Okay, Gunastan. Okay, so Arihant and others are grades of spiritual realization. Those in the grades of this psychic achievement are called the 5 supreme holy beings or Parmeshti. Next, Arihant. So let's understand who is an Arihant. Those who having left the household and accepting monkhood. Vishal, have you got any picture of a monk? You can just have a look as I read. Those who having left the household and accepting monkhood, destroying the 4 kinds of karmic matter. Look, Hetal, we just talked about this. Destroying the 4 kinds of karmic matter by engaging themselves in the pursuit of the self, etle Atma, and having attained the highest attributes of omniscience, omnivision, eternal bliss, and supreme strength are called Arihant. Let's go back to the picture of the ladder. Vritti, Purva, don't turn off your video because I will not know what is happening with you. Okay, so this is, just look at this picture. Then now I will explain to you after you look at the picture. You can make it big if you can. Anyway, I think you all can see it. In case if you can't make it big, see, everybody can see. This is a monk. Vritti, Purva, can you see? Briella, can you see? Fiona?
Yes.
Good. Dia, Anya, are you able to see it? Good. Fine. So let's go back to the picture of the ladder. Now I explain to you. So the monk is in the 6th Gunastan. Hetal, where is the monk?
6th Gunastan.
6th Gunastan. Now last week, what did we learn? Who was in the 4th Gunastan? Let's see who remembers. Raise your hand. Fiona, or is it Briella? Who has raised their hand first?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
Briella. Say quickly.
Krishna.
Krishna. Krishna was in the 4th Gunastan. Look, in our text, like just now in that book, what did it say? That somebody who has left the house, somebody who is now a monk. Now, Krishna had not left the house yet. He was still in his beautiful clothes, beautiful jewelry. He had a nice crown. On the crown, he had a feather. So 4th Gunastan means that one has experienced the soul. Dia, Anya, what does 4th Gunastan mean? You are very bright.
That one has experienced the soul.
And in the 1st Gunastan, has the person experienced the soul?
No.
Very good, girls. You are very attentive. Okay, so Hetal is like us, like you, me, all of us, we are in the 1st Gunastan because we have not yet experienced the soul. Now, in the case of Sri Krishna, he had already experienced the soul. So he was in the 4th Gunastan, but he had not yet left his house. He had not become a monk. Now, this is the journey what every single person needs to take. You can't jump. Meaning in the 4th Gunastan, you can't become Bhagwan. Vritti, in the 4th Gunastan, can we become Bhagwan?
No.
So in what Gunastan is Bhagwan there from the 14? Fiona.
Yeah.
Answer the question. Where are you lost? In
Where?
what Gunastan? In the 14 steps, in what Gunastan is Bhagwan?
Bhagwan.
Hmm.
13th and over.
13th. No, 13th. 13th is Arihant Bhagwan. Okay, so have you understood this, Hetal? I think
Yes.
you're moving. So are you able to listen?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. So fine. So now to quickly understand, and then we move on to the next paragraph. Purva, are you understanding?
Yes.
Okay, Purva, in the 4th Gunastan, has the person left the house?
Yes.
No, he has not left the house. He's still a householder. He's still wearing clothes. He's still wearing jewelry. He's going to the shop. He's buying food, etc., etc. Okay, so in the 4th Gunastan, has the person left the house? Has he become a monk, Purva?
No.
Then in what Gunastan does he become a monk, Priyala?
We're in the 5th Gunastan.
Wrong. I've not even spoken about the 5th. You're not paying attention. Dia, Anya, in what Gunastan does one become a monk?
The 4th.
No, 4th, the answer is right actually, that in the 4th also one can become a monk, but here we are talking about a monk who is a little bit higher. So the answer is 6th Gunastan. But your answer is correct. Okay, so and then what happens in the 7th Gunastan? Let's see who raises their hand first. do the use the icon so that I can see what happens in the 7th Gunistan. Vishal, what happens in the 7th Gunistan?
The meditation, they go into the meditation.
Yeah, now they're completely absorbed in the soul. Hetal, is that clear in the 7th Gunistan?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go back to the book. Wait, okay. Those who, having left the household and accepting monkhood, destroyed the 4 kinds of karmic matter. Hetal, in what Gunistan is Arihant Bhagwan?
13th.
13th. So what happens in the 13th Gunistan? Read.
From the book?
Yeah, from the book.
Pura, can I have the book, please?
No, look at the screen. 4 kinds of karmic matter are being destroyed. 4 kinds of karmic matter are being destroyed. So that is what happens in the 13th Gunistan.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and they are completely engaged or they are completely within the soul. Now let's move on to the second book, paragraph. No, please, okay. In religious books, 46 attributes of the Arihant have been shown. So there are 46, of course, 46 is just the, the main ones, but he actually has infinite attributes. He's got infinite virtues. Some of these relate to the physical form, while others are connected with their souls. 10 of those are associated with their birth and relate to the body. 10 relate to obtaining omniscience, so 20 gone. There are also these are also due to outer merits, and 14 of these are accomplished by the gods. These attributes are peculiar to the Tirthankar Arihants only and not all Arihants. Okay, look, an important point has come over here. How many Tirthankars can there be? Raise your hand. Brielle and Fiona.
There can be 24.
Dia, how many Tirthankars?
24.
No, 25. Are you sure? It's only 24. Why not 25? Hetal, why not 25?
Our Tirthankars are only 24 till now.
Okay, okay. Fiona?
Because that's how, what's the law of nature?
So that's the law of nature. There are only going to be 24. So now let's listen to a story. Long time ago, there was a queen called Revati Rani. Revati Rani was actually a very, like confident woman, full of self-esteem, and she was ruling that kingdom. What happened? So she had also attained Samyak Darshan. So she was in what Gunistan? Priyala?
4th.
Very good. So if someone attains Samyak Darshan, what Gunistan are they if they're in the house? Raise your hand. Dia?
The 4th?
Ritti?
The 4th.
Okay, good, fine. So now let's continue with the story of Revati Rani. So Revati Rani had experienced the soul and she was living peacefully in her kingdom. Now, Mahavir Bhagwan Samavasar already finished and he had gone to Siddhali. After a few days or few weeks or months, it could have been, that somebody said, oh, there's a 25th Tirthankar and there's a Samavasaran. Let's all go for it. And the whole town went to see. Of course, some believed, some did not believe. They were just testing it and they just wanted to see what is happening. Who has done all this thing? And even some people told Revati Rani to come. But what did she say? No, I will not come, because there are only 24 Tirthankars, and this person, whoever has created this 25th Tirthankar, is a bluff. It is fake. It is not true. And she's the only person in the whole city who did not go to see this. So are you understanding from the story that the faith should be strong in what Arihant Bhagwan has told us? He has not told us 25 Tirthankars. He has told us 24 Tirthankars. So what is the moral of the story? Who will be able to say it? Raise your hand. Vritti?
The moral of the story is, I think that the moral of the story is that you should believe
You should do what? Vritti, don't be funny right now. So what is the moral of the story?
The moral of the story is that you should believe on God.
Okay, fine. So that is a good try, but it is not fully correct. What is the moral of the story, Briella?
So we know there's no 25th or no 23rd, there's only 24th.
Good, but I still want something else. The moral of the story is that believe what Arihant Bhagwan has told us, and what is the reason for that? Why are we supposed to believe him? It's not just because we are just believing him for the sake of believing him. There's a logical reason. What is that reason? Why we believe Arihant Bhagwan? Yes, Priyala?
So we can attain moksha.
No, because he's an omniscient. He knows everything. He knows everything. Can like you and I say that we know everything? We can't say that. We can't say that because it is not true that we really don't know everything. But because Arihant Bhagwan knows everything, so we can believe him. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so where were we? These attributes are peculiar to the Arihant, to the Tirthankar Arihants only, and not all Arihants. Okay, so we were talking about this. Now so now I remember what we were talking. So there are only 24 Tirthankars, but can you and I become an Arihant Bhagwan? Dia, Anya? What do you think?
No.
No, your answer is no. Vishal, what is your answer?
For me, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Hetal, what is your answer?
Yes.
Explain, Hetal, why?
According to our Tirthankar, the way he has taught us, we can become a Tirthankar once we know what our soul is and how we can conquer all our enemies.
Okay, so no, your answer is incorrect, because the reason is there can only be 24 Tirthankars, but all of us can be Arihant. Now understand the difference. Tirthankar is also an Arihant. But the position, like in a school, how many headmasters can there be, Hetal? One, correct?
One only, yes.
One only. In the same way, there can be 24 Tirthankars. Because that is a position. That is a position. Are you understanding, Dia and Anya? That is a position. In case you don't understand, ask me, because at times, particularly this book is a little bit complicated. So Dia and Anya, are you understanding? Vritti and Purva, are you understanding?
Yes.
Are you sure? Purva, explain to me, how many Tirthankars are there?
24.
And how many Arihants can there be?
A lot.
Many, infinite Arihants. because Tirthankar is like a special position. It's like a chief guest. Tirthankar is the position of a chief guest. Not all of us can't be chief. I mean, all of us cannot be a chief guest, but all of us can attend that function, correct? And also enjoy it, correct? Is that true? Is that true, Priyala?
There was actually a question here. Fiona, what's the question? She was like, why can we not become Tirthankar?
Yeah, you can become a Tirthankar. You just have to what do you say? Have that luck. Because only there are 24 lucky people.
Dad thinks that I can't become a Tirthankar.
You can become a Tirthankar, but not in this life.
Well, yeah.
It can be in any other life. You might be a Tirthankar. Who knows? I don't know. You like might become a Tirthankar at some point. But that is not the important point over here, because understand what I'm trying to say over here, Hetal. So how many chief guests are there, Briella, in function?
See,
1. Okay. And Purva, how many chief guests can there be in a function?
Many.
Chief guest.
1.
Purva, pay attention. But how many guests can there be at the program? Dia, Anya?
Infinite.
Okay, so there can be many guests in the function. In the same way, understand the example that there are only selected people who become Tirthankars, but like the audience in a function, Fiona, or like the audience in a function, all of them can enjoy and attend the function and get the same benefit as the chief guest will get the benefit from that particular function. Is that making sense? If it is not making sense, ask right now. I think it is making sense. Hetal, is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. 8 auspicious objects are also external decorations. However, the 4 attributes given above relate to the soul only and are common to all Arihants. As such, they are the real attributes of the Arihant. Okay, let's go down. Siddha. So let's go back to the picture. Okay, Siddh. So this is Siddh. Look, Hetal, has it got a body? Yes or no?
No.
It does not have a body. So which God has a body? Raise your hand.
God has a body. Raise your hand. Do you know that?
Arihant.
Yeah, Briella, which God has a body?
Arihant.
Arihant. Dia, which God has a body?
Arihant Bhagwan.
Hetal, Vritti, which God has a body?
Arihant.
And in which Gunastan is Arihant Bhagwan? Vritti.
In the 13th Gunastan?
In the 13th Gunastan is Arihant Bhagwan. Okay, let's go down to the Gunastan again. Now in the 13th Gunastan is where, look, that is where Arihant Bhagwan is. How many karmas is he destroying? We just learned in class. How many karmas is he destroying? What is the number? Raise your hand if you know. Dia, Anya, do you know? No, you don't know. Okay, who knows? We just read it. Fiona, you're not paying attention. Sit straight. Vishal, how many karmas is Arihant Bhagwan destroying?
It's 4 kinds of karmic.
Yeah, 4 kinds of, okay, four kinds of, because when you say it in Gujarati, you just say 4 ghati karma. Okay, so okay, fine. So in English, so yeah, it is correct. 4 kinds of karma. Okay, so let's go back. Now let's go back to Siddha Bhagwan. This is actually easy if you just understand the maths of it. Okay, look at the picture of Siddha Bhagwan properly. Hetal, look at it properly. And now let's go to the text. Let's read. Those who having abandoned the household, so in which Gunastan are you a monk? Raise your hand. Briella?
In the 5th Gunastan.
No, I've not talked at all about the 5th. Not even once have I spoken about 5th Gunastan. Purva?
6th.
Gunastan generally. We are here, we're talking generally, but one can also be one can also become a monk, meaning leave everything behind, his clothes, his family. In what Gunastan? 4th Gunastan. But here, yes, your answer is correct, that it is 6th Gunastan. So let's continue to read. Has initiated into monkhood, destroying the 4 destructive karmas. So in which Gunastan do you destroy the 4 destructive karmas? Raise your hand. It's easy. In what Gunastan, Briella? Do you know? Hetal, do you know?
13th.
In the 13th Gunastan, Dia and Anya, look here, Dia. In what Gunastan do you destroy the 4 karmas? Dia.
13th Gunastan.
13th Gunastan. Okay. So I think, hold on a second, let me look at the time. Okay. So I think we have learned quite a bit for one day, theory wise. Let's now let's learn one story for today. Okay, it's fine. We can like do this next week now. We will do it next week. So let's quickly revise and then I start with the story. Raise your hands quickly. Hetal, don't turn off your video. Keep it on. Okay. In what Gunastan is Siddha Bhagwan? Anya.
None.
Now, yeah, no Gunastan. In what Gunastan is a monk who is in meditation? Purva.
6th.
7th. When he's in complete meditation, he's in 7th Gunastan. In what Gunastan is the mind still active? In which Gunastan when he's a monk? Briella.
6th Gunastan.
6th Gunastan. So when the mind is active, he's in the 6th Gunastan. When the mind has become no thoughts, in what Gunastan is he now? Vritti. Vritti. I've just said it.
7th.
7th Gunastan. When there are Vritti, when there are no thoughts, in what Gunastan is the soul?
In this, I think it's the 6th Gunastan.
7th. Vritti. In which Gunastan has the soul got thoughts?
In the 6th Gunastan.
Good girl. Dia, Anya, in what Gunastan has the soul got thoughts?
6th Gunastan.
And in what Gunastan the soul hasn't got any thoughts?
7th Gunastan.
Very, very good. Now let's move on with the story. Okay, now we can do this next week. Let's learn the story of Hanumanji. Has everybody heard about Hanuman? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Was he a monkey or was he a human being like us? Fiana?
A human being.
So why is it that we see him in a monkey form? Okay, let's understand now. So long time ago in a city, there was a beautiful princess called Anjana. What was the princess's name? Her name was Anjana. So her parents were looking for a groom for her. And in like a nearby kingdom, there was another prince. There was a prince called Pavan. So the prince was called Pavan, and this princess was called Anjana. Now both of them were going to get married, and like in those days, the groom was not allowed to see his like would-be wife or his fiancée. He was not allowed to see her. So he wanted to go and take a sneak peek. He just wanted to go and see, who is this Anjana? How does she look like? He had so many thoughts in his mind. So he went to Anjana's palace. Now, Anjana was a very well-behaved girl, and she was generally like in a good state of mind. So she was always very calm. So she had some friends and some mates. All of them were like sitting and laughing and talking. So they were just joking. They had no bad intention in their mind. And they started to say that another prince, not Pavan, another prince is far more handsome than Pavan. And they all started to laugh. Now Pavan was listening to all this. And he got angry, because he got angry at Anjana because Anjana did not stand up for him. He thought that she's going to be my wife. Why can't she say that I am the most handsome person? Now Anjana remained quiet. Now this really annoyed Pavan, and he made a strong resolution. He took a promise. He took a promise and he said that when this Anjana comes to my house after marriage, I will trouble her. And that's exactly what he did. For 22 years, he did not speak to Anjana. Can you imagine? For 22 years, he never spoke to Anjana. But Anjana, as I said earlier, that she was a very well-behaved and a very calm person. So she remained very calm for 22 years in the faith that one day everything will be okay. And that's exactly what happened. One day everything became fine. And it so also happened that that Pavan had to go and fight a war. So he left the palace, and when he was fighting, and he was having many thoughts, because 22 years had now gone, and even he was perhaps feeling guilty that how he has treated Anjana. I mean, for a small mistake, he has punished her for 22 years. So this was also eating him up. So he was thinking about Anjana a lot, and in like those days, both men and women were highly like courageous. They were not like today that they would give up. So Pavan took his horse and he went back to the palace. Now it was night, so nobody knew that Pavan is back. Nobody knew about it. So he went into Anjana's room and he told her, look, I am back, but because of the war, I can only stay here for one night, then I have to go back. Now Anjana said, look, you are here, that is fine, but in the morning, if people ask me, or after some time, if they ask me anything about you, you have to give me something so that I can show to people that you were here. So Pavan gives Anjana his ring. And then after that one night, he goes back to fight the war. Now, after a few months, Anjana was pregnant with Hanumanji. And nobody believed Anjana when she said that Pavan had come. Then she's even showing the ring. It was her bad luck that nobody still believed her, that Pavan was there for that one night, and Pavan was still at war, and there were no mobile phones. They were, they could not communicate. So Pavan's parents threw her out of the palace because they thought that this lady is a disloyal woman. So she went to her parents' house. Look at her bad luck. Her parents also kicked her out of the house, saying that you can't live here anymore. We don't know if you are speaking the truth. Look at Anjana now. She is pregnant and now she has no house to go to. Does she lose her mind? Does she commit suicide? Is she having bad thoughts for Pavan or for her parents or for her in-laws? No, because she understands that everything is happening to me because maybe in my past life I have done some bad karma, I've done some bad deeds. She is pregnant, yet she does not lose courage. And back in the day, it was not like now that we have got lights at night. There were no lights. The forest was so dark. Can you imagine that she is there with just one maid? After some time, after a few months, Hanumanji is born. Hanumanji is born and he is a Kamdev. He's a Kamdev. So how many Chakravartis are there? We have learned this. Raise your hand. How many Chakravartis are there? Dia, Anya?
12.
Good girls. How many Tirthankars are there? Priyala?
24.
And how many, I have also told this to you before, how many Baldev are there? Vritti?
I think it's 9.
Good girl, very good. So Vritti remembers. So Vritti likes stories. She does not like the other work. Okay, so there are 9 Baldev, 9 Vasudev, and 9 Prati Vasudev. Now, how many Kamdevs are there? There are 20 Kamdevs. So there are 20 Kamdevs, and Hanuman was one of them. And in some books, it is written 24 Kamdevs. So either it is 20 or 24 Kamdevs. But in the book I have read, it is saying 20. So there are 20 Kamdevs, and Hanumanji was one of them. So he was not a monkey. He was, Kamdev means an extremely, extremely, extremely handsome man. He's not ordinarily handsome. He's not like, for example, maybe like a hero that you see in the films. He's 100 times or 1,000,000 times more handsome than him. Not just handsome, but he's also extremely, extremely strong. He is very, very, very strong. And generally, they have many, many wives. It could be thousands of wives. So Hanumanji now started to grow, like the baby Hanuman now started to grow. One day, Anjana was carrying the baby Hanuman in her hands. What happened that the baby fell down from the rock, from the cliff, and hit himself on the rock. What would happen to our body? It would break. Maybe we would die. But Hanumanji, remember, he had a very, very, very strong body. So what happened? The rock broke into pieces. So this is the strength of Hanuman. So Hanuman now started to grow up, and look at now Anjana's luck even started to change. One day when she was in the forest, they had these aeroplanes at that time. So one aeroplane was flying by, and in that aeroplane, there was Anjana's mama, Anjana's mother's brother. So Anjana's mama was in the aeroplane, and he saw Anjana and he recognized her. Then he took her to his palace. And coincidentally, even Pavan, Hanuman's father, had finished the war. He returned back home to his palace. He went there and he started to ask for Anjana. Then the parents explained, we threw her out because we were not sure if she was a loyal woman or not. Then Pavan explained to them, no, really, I had come that night, and then he resolves the matter. Then Pavan goes and he gets Anjana and Hanuman. So is it clear till here? Is the story clear till here? I will repeat the story one more time, and next week we will continue with the story and we will see how he meets Ramchandraji. So let's start with the story in short. Anjana and Pavan were going to get married. In those days, men were not allowed to look at their would-be wives. So Pavan sneaked into Anjana's palace to have a glimpse at her, to look at her. And they were chatting and just having fun as girls when one of the maids or the friend said that, oh, there's another prince who is far more handsome than Pavan. Pavan got angry because Anjana did not stand up for him. And he took a vow that when this woman comes to my house, I will punish her. For 22 years, he did not speak to Anjana. After that, he goes to war. He goes to war, and one day he realizes his mistake. He comes back for one night. Anjana tells him, people will question me, so you better leave me something. So he left his ring and he goes back in the morning to fight the war. When after a few months, when Anjana was pregnant, the in-laws and her both. And when she's thrown in the jungle all alone, all scared, she still does not give up. She does not give up. Is my internet stable? Are you able to hear me?
For a little bit, it was breaking, but it's back now.
Okay, I'll just quickly repeat it. So where did it break?
Just a ring, where he gives a ring.
Okay, so he gives the ring and he goes back to war. After a few months, when Anjana was pregnant, both the parents and the in-laws kick her out of the house because they're not believing her that she's really speaking the truth. Then she's thrown in the jungle where she has no house. After a few months, Hanumanji was born. And Hanumanji was so strong that once accidentally when he fell from a cliff, the rock broke into pieces. So this was to show his strength. Next, what happens is that one day his mama is in an aeroplane, like an open aeroplane. It's not like the aeroplanes we have today. It's an open aeroplane. So he could see her very, very quickly. And he spots Anjana and he says, oh, that is my niece. And he takes her back to the palace. Pavan comes back home and he realizes his mistake. And the parents also realize their mistake and they bring Anjana and Hanuman home. So this is where we have reached. So next week we will learn how Hanuman will meet Ramchandraji. Is this clear till now? Any questions? Yeah, Briella?
You were breaking up at the end.
But that's okay, we understood. But we heard the story.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, there's a bit of a problem today, but from next week I will sort it out. Okay, if there are no more questions, we can finish the class. Hetal, just read this chapter again. And if you've got questions, you ask me next time.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Bye. Jai
Bye.
Jinendra, everybody.
Jai Janendra.
Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.